My wife, the CEO, insisted on personally mentoring the fresh-out-of-college intern, a real wolf in sheep's clothing. She told me, "Don't get the wrong idea, I just see his potential." But the usually meticulous and mature woman started wearing pink dresses and high ponytails. Even on our third wedding anniversary, she and the intern went AWOL for 48 hours. While everyone was frantically searching for her, she posted a photo on social media of herself riding a carousel, holding candy floss. The caption read, "In this happy place, I found the purest joy, because of you." The company lost a major project because of it, and I lost my wife. I slipped the divorce papers into the intern's full-time employment report and handed it to her. Without even looking, she signed it and declared, "River Wyndham has more than enough ability to be a vice president." I calmly submitted my resignation letter. "You're right, so I'll make way." Willow Green and I were financially independent. In the divorce agreement, I only asked for the marital home. I had planned to discuss it when we got home. River Wyndham walked in at the most inopportune moment. "Mr. Edwards, HR sent me to discuss my full-time employment with you." HR sent him to me because they couldn't decide between Willow Green, the CEO, and me, the VP. I didn't glare at him like I used to, annoyed by his obvious pursuit of Willow Green. I simply took his full-time employment report with a detached air. "You can go now." But River Wyndham plopped down on the office couch. "This office is huge. Mr. Edwards, do you think I'll be working here soon?" He tapped the back of the couch with his fingers as he spoke, as if he were already certain he would be the new owner of this office. I ignored him and called security directly. "Send 2 people to my office. Someone's refusing to leave." River Wyndham, seeing that I wasn't going to physically assault him and give him the chance to play the victim, visibly paled. Then, as if struck by a sudden thought, he nonchalantly taunted, "Seriously, Mr. Edwards? Can't you take a joke? I'm just sitting here, and you're already calling security?" Willow Green isn't going to be happy when she hears about this. I didn't respond. Since joining the company, River Wyndham had done nothing but fawn over Willow Green and wander around. He never looked like he was doing any serious work. In front of others, he was the epitome of innocence, but he always liked to provoke me. Although Willow Green and I had a secret marriage, the unspoken understanding and interactions between a real husband and wife inevitably made people wonder. This subtle ambiguity had lasted for 8 years. But it couldn't compete with Willow Green's blatant favoritism towards River Wyndham for the past 6 months. My colleagues were already shipping them. Thankfully, I was already indifferent to it all. The security guards rushed in, looking imposing. But when they saw that the person refusing to leave the office was River Wyndham, they deflated. An intern with mediocre skills had somehow managed to intimidate the entire company. It was clear how much support Willow Green had given him. "Mr. Edwards, is there some kind of misunderstanding?" I looked at the obsequious guards and said coldly, "Can't security tell what their duties are anymore? Have you forgotten all the company rules?" River Wyndham, on the other hand, looked completely at ease. "Mr. Edwards, everyone knows you throw your authority around. Willow Green said that once I'm in charge, the company culture will change. Everyone just needs to be patient, it won't be long now." This blatant provocation caused the 2 guards to lower their heads, not wanting to get involved in our feud. They were wrong. Even if I was out of favor, I was still second in command at the company. I took off my glasses and said calmly, "I see. I'll have HR reassess the value of security's existence tomorrow." The guards' foreheads immediately broke out in sweat. River Wyndham's smile faltered slightly. He hadn't expected me to be so firm. He could only use the excuse of thinking of security to leave my office reluctantly. After calming down, I went to Willow Green's office. The woman looked up slightly. "Something you need?" Looking at her cold and impatient expression, my heart ached. But I still forced myself to remain composed and asked, "Are you just going to let River Wyndham run wild in the company?" Willow Green replied in a dissatisfied tone, "Why do you have to be so unpleasant? What bad intentions could River Wyndham possibly have, fresh out of college? It's you who's always bullying him, targeting him at every turn." I laughed in anger. What part of his behavior seems innocent to you? Only Willow Green would believe his gold digger act was genuine love. Willow Green's face darkened. He's my employee, not yours to manage. If there's nothing else, leave. I stared at her, trying to find a trace of love for me in her eyes. But I found only coldness. I sighed helplessly and walked over to her, placing some documents on the desk as a formality. "This is River Wyndham's full-time employment application. HR can't decide, so sign it." We were a husband and wife team, either of us could sign it. But today, I didn't take it upon myself to do so. Willow Green paused, then looked up at me. "Why can't you sign it?" I gave a plausible reason. "You know, River Wyndham isn't qualified in my eyes. You decide." It was the truth. And a test. I pretended to look at Willow Green nonchalantly, but I had an unrealistic expectation in my heart. "Just don't sign it." Just as Willow Green was about to look at the documents, the phone on her desk lit up. She looked at the caller ID and quickly answered. Okay, it's fine, I'm not being mistreated. Wait for me in the car." After hanging up, she glared at me and said impatiently, "You're trying to get security to kick River Wyndham out while telling me that it's up to me whether he gets a full-time position or not." Slap. The woman raised her hand and slapped me across the face. My cheek instantly burned. "Are you so intolerant of an intern? Or are you afraid he's going to steal your pathetic spotlight?" I laughed in anger. Every time River Wyndham complained, she never cared whether I was following the rules or not. She always sided with him. After years in the workplace, it wasn't like I didn't know how to deal with a young man. But the more I reined him in, the more she hated me. The weaker he was, the more justified he became. My heart was full of bitterness and helplessness, with no way to vent, so I chose to remain silent. The woman's chest heaved with anger, and she picked up her purse to leave. I called out softly to stop her. "Sign it first, so HR can process the full-time employment paperwork." Willow Green looked agitated. She picked up a pen and quickly signed her name, then hurried away. I gave a self-deprecating laugh. If she had only taken a glance, she would have seen the divorce papers slipped into the full-time employment application. But every time it came to River Wyndham, she became a different person, losing all sense of reason. Willow Green and I were an arranged marriage, cobbled together under pressure from our parents. From the beginning, it lacked the foundation of love. I had started pursuing her in college, but never received a response. Later, because our majors matched, I had the opportunity to become her business partner. 3 years after the company was founded, she said her parents were pushing her hard. She asked if I would be willing to have a flash marriage with her to silence the gossip. So we skipped the dating step and entered the halls of marriage directly. I always thought that women like her, who were career-oriented, were naturally indifferent and loved their work above all else. Until I accidentally read her diary. Only then did I discover that she had always held a special place in her heart for a deceased person, her unattainable love, Lance Sterling. Since the person was already dead, I wasn't going to hold it against a dead man. I felt even more sorry for her. Then River Wyndham came along. His eyebrows and eyes bore an uncanny resemblance to Lance Sterling. He threw the usually calm and collected female CEO into disarray. Her once decisive decision-making skills were greatly diminished in front of him. She even got dead drunk in front of me and kept lamenting, "Why wasn't I born earlier?" Why couldn't we have been born at the same time? Why was I so impulsive and get married? Looking at her blurry eyes and tear-stained face, I felt as if a knife was repeatedly stabbing my heart. I had always thought that our marriage, although lacking passionate love, was an example of marrying first and falling in love later. But River Wyndham's appearance instantly turned our 5-year union into an impulsive mistake. I smiled bitterly, wanting to retort but feeling like something was stuck in my throat. Are you that regretful about being with me? What were these 5 years to you then? That time, I finally couldn't help but ask. But she just smiled blankly, looking into the distance with hazy eyes, as if she saw her heart's desire in that emptiness. I feel so old now, standing next to him, like we're from two different worlds. How can I be worthy of him? She didn't know that her words had completely extinguished the last glimmer of hope in my heart. I realized that I was already a rejected relic. She didn't even think it was worth her time to give me an explanation for these 5 years. I never mentioned those drunk confessions in front of her. With her alcohol tolerance, she could drink to the point of blacking out. She had gotten drunk on purpose. Who knew how intense her worries and entanglements were? Originally, I had resigned myself to telling myself, just pretend I didn't see it. As long as she was still by my side, as long as the company could operate normally, I could numb myself with work. I would ignore those ambiguous interactions between them. I would ignore the whispers of my colleagues. But they became increasingly presumptuous. They flirted shamelessly in various company settings. They openly held hands and attended important business events. The space left for me, her husband, became smaller and smaller. She even missed our 5th wedding anniversary last Monday. She had promised to go, but then she disappeared for 48 hours without answering her phone or replying to texts. I was so worried that something had happened that I searched everywhere for her. Coincidentally, a major client we had previously discussed cooperation with said they wanted to meet the company's person in charge that day. I was even more exasperated. I had previously inquired about this client's corporate culture and style. Reaching the stage of meeting the person in charge meant we could sign a contract. And this deal was crucial to the company. It could make up for the hole caused by her previous misguided decisions. But Willow Green, who was usually so calm, couldn't be reached. The client felt the company wasn't sincere and turned around to cooperate with our rival. Of course, these were all secondary to life. Just when I was about to call the police because she was missing, I saw her post a safe and sound message on social media. An abrupt photo, a dazzling caption. In the photo, she was wearing a pink dress that didn't suit her age. She was sitting on a carousel, which she used to call childish. She was holding candy floss, which she didn't like to eat. The caption read, "In this happy place, I found the purest joy, because of you." When she came back, I, who had barely slept for 2 days, asked wearily, "Where did you go, and with whom?" But she turned around and complained, "I just went to meet a friend. Why did you call so many times? Like you were trying to kill me." Meeting a friend? She disappeared with the intern. Who else could she be meeting? At that moment, I suddenly felt something collapse in my heart. The expectations, attachment, and love I once had for her. Like a flickering candle swept away by a gust of wind, it was instantly extinguished, leaving only a cold pile of ashes. I didn't say another word. Holding the divorce agreement she had signed, I felt a sense of liberation. I took out my phone and called a business executive who had once offered me a lucrative deal. "Mr. Thompson, you mentioned before that your overseas branch needed someone in charge. Is that still the case?" The other party was overjoyed when he heard me bring it up. "Are you willing to go?" "That's great. Kent Edwards, you're a rare talent in business development and management. As long as you're willing, I'll have them make arrangements right away." The compensation will be better than what you're getting now. If Willow Green isn't willing to let you go, I'll talk to her myself. How about that? Mr. Thompson was a well-known business tycoon in the city, and his wife was my college professor. Although Green Tech Industries was on the rise, it had insufficient capital turnover and a shortage of high-end talent, which limited its development. So Mr. Thompson had always wanted me to join his ranks and help him expand his territory. I naturally refused. After all, Green Tech Industries was co-founded by my wife and me. It was like our child. Looking back now, I was blinded by a leaf. I shouldn't have been so stubborn and given up such a good opportunity. Thank you, Mr. Thompson. I'll do my best. When Willow Green came back, I was writing my resignation letter. She didn't look at me and started playing with her phone as soon as she walked in. After taking a shower, she sat down in front of the dressing table, wiping her wet hair. Kent Edwards, I'm flying to sunny Port City in a few days for a conference. Please keep an eye on things at the company. She was ways like this. 1 second, she would slap me, and the next, she would nonchalantly tell me what to do. As if those conflicts had never happened. This was probably because I had always lowered my head and cooperated. Our relationship was so fragile that I was always afraid it would completely shatter without warning. I could only pretend not to care and cater to her. Now it seemed that forcing those contradictions to pass was not going to work. After blow-drying her hair, the woman walked to the bed and leaned down to kiss me. I subconsciously turned my head away. The kiss landed on my chin. We were both a little surprised by our actions. Usually, I was the one who would pester her for intimacy. Tonight, she had taken the initiative, but I had dodged it. I closed my laptop and said softly, "Go to sleep, it's late." Willow Green frowned slightly. "What's wrong?" I coughed dismissively. "I have a cold. I don't want to infect you." Willow Green didn't suspect anything and asked, "Mr. Sterling from Grand Era Group invited me to dinner this Friday. Come with me." I didn't look at her. Okay. My wife and I didn't often attend the same business dinners. Besides avoiding suspicion, it was also because we had different social styles and ways of doing things. Working alone could give us more advantages and opportunities to win more benefits and opportunities for the company. She always brought her secretary to these kinds of dinners. But Heidi Smith, who used to work well with her, was fired after offending River Wyndham. River Wyndham was all looks and no brains, with poor EQ, poor skills, and a worse alcohol tolerance. Now he couldn't help with anything. No wonder Willow Green wanted me to go. After turning off the lights, we went to sleep. The next day, I asked some close friends out for drinks. It was a farewell of sorts. But I didn't make it clear. They could only guess that I was unlucky in love. While we were drinking, we saw Willow Green and River Wyndham leaving after having dinner. My friends naturally knew we were married. Willow Green looked a little embarrassed. She didn't want River Wyndham to know she was married. Even less did she want him to know that I was her husband. "What are you doing here?" she asked, pretending to be relaxed. "As you can see, catching up with the guys," I replied calmly. My friends felt sorry for me and made some sarcastic comments. "Oh, isn't this Willow Green's little sidekick? Why are you standing so close? It's already after work. Does our CEO have to bring her assistant when she goes out? Being inseparable like that, can this little sidekick handle it?" Willow Green's face darkened. After glaring at me, she retorted, "If you've had too much to drink, go home and stop making such childish jokes." River Wyndham also quickly explained, "You've got the wrong idea, everyone. I'm just following Willow Green to learn about business. It's purely work-related, it's not what you think." Everyone was unhappy about this encounter. Willow Green was in a hurry to leave, but one of my friends called out to her. He deliberately said, "Willow Green, Kent here seems to have had a lot to drink today. He definitely can't get home by himself. Why don't you give him a ride home?" As soon as he said that, River Wyndham turned his head around. Half puzzled, half annoyed, he said, "Hey, he can call a cab. Why would Willow Green have to take him home?" Everyone could tell that I liked Willow Green. River Wyndham was no exception. So he didn't give any of my friends the time of day. Besides, they're not even going in the same direction. One of my friends was so angry that he was about to get up and hit him. Willow Green quickly stood in front of River Wyndham. "Try touching him." Her attitude of wholeheartedly protecting River Wyndham made my friend's blood rush to his head. He pointed his finger at her. "Willow Green, you better not push me. Tell this pretty boy right now what your relationship IP with Kent Edwards is." Willow Green's face turned cold, and she met my friend's glare. "It's none of your business. You have no right to point fingers here." River Wyndham raised his chin slightly behind her. That smugness and provocation were a daily occurrence. But in this moment, it was just adding fuel to the fire. My friend was about to lose control. Just as he was about to explode, I reached out and pressed down on his shoulder. Then I smiled and looked at Willow Green. "My friend's drunk. You guys can go." Willow Green breathed a sigh of relief and wanted to leave quickly. But River Wyndham persisted. "Willow Green, what was he saying about your relationship with Kent Edwards? What's going on?" A hint of panic flashed in Willow Green's eyes. I felt both helpless and amused. I spoke up to defuse the situation. "Willow Green and I were college friends. We've been friends for so many years." River Wyndham looked at me with suspicion. He wanted to ask more, but seeing that Willow Green's face wasn't looking too good, he didn't dare to push it any further. Willow Green gave me a questioning glance and then continued to walk forward hurriedly. My wife ran off with another man in front of all my friends. And I had to step forward and say, "We're just friends." How heartbreaking, how ridiculous. No need to say it. It's all in the alcohol. I didn't get home until early in the morning. In order not to disturb Willow Green, I slept in the study. I didn't see her until the next day at the office. She was sitting on the couch in my office, as if she were waiting for me on purpose. I thought she wanted to settle the score from last night. But unexpectedly, she opened her mouth and said, "I missed our anniversary last week. I know you're not happy. Let's make it up to you by leaving work early today." I was a little surprised. I even thought it was unnecessary. But I didn't want to deal with her cold face all day. That would make it hard to get work done. I replied immediately, "Then let's go to the Italian restaurant nearby." Knowing that she loved French cuisine, I suggested it directly. I wasn't too disheartened about missing our 5th anniversary. After all, even before River Wyndham appeared, she was extremely perfunctory about our anniversaries. Either she didn't celebrate them at all, or she would bail. Because on that day, she only wanted to dedicate it to her dead unattained love. Who would have thought that she would set the day we got our marriage license on the anniversary of Lance Sterling's death? Before leaving work in the evening, I took River Wyndham's job transfer application to Willow Green for her to review. The position column is empty. You fill it in yourself, just to follow procedure and avoid any disputes later. Neither HR nor I could give such a gold digger, who didn't even have the qualifications to be made a full-time employee, a suitable position. It was better to let Willow Green decide for herself. Without thinking, she wrote Vice President. Then she signed her name on the back page. I reminded her, 2 copies, one for the employee, one for HR to keep on file. She didn't hesitate and signed them directly. After putting away the documents, I felt a little dazed. I had used the same method to trick her into signing my resignation letter. But she never noticed it once. In order not to attract attention, we left the company at different times. This time, Willow Green came. She adjusted her skirt slightly and sat down, talking to me. I came here once with a client and fell in love with it. The dishes were served one after another. She took the initiative to push her favorite seafood soup in front of me. This French clam chowder is especially authentic. Try it. We rarely had such a relaxed moment. In the past, if she had given me a third of the attention she was giving me now, I would have been overjoyed. But now, I just quietly looked at the shellfish in the soup, which I was allergic to. I didn't touch it. Seeing that I was not enjoying myself, she was a little unhappy. Why aren't you drinking it? It wasn't like I hadn't told her that I was allergic to these kinds of ingredients. I had even forced myself to eat them once to please her, and ended up in the emergency room. But she had forgotten all about it. Just as I was about to speak, her phone rang. After answering, she only said a few words, but her tone became urgent, with a hint of panic. Don't think too much. I'll be right there. She rushed towards the door, even forgetting to take her purse. When she came back to get her purse, she finally realized that I was still there. She explained perfunctorily, something urgent came up that I have to take care of. You can eat first. I nodded and took a sip of the French cream of mushroom soup. I said softly, okay, drive carefully. Perhaps I was too calm. Willow Green stood there for a moment, looking puzzled. But she immediately remembered that she had more important things to do, turned around, and left. I looked at the table full of French cuisine and felt a little disgusted. But in order not to waste it, I forced myself to eat it all. Unexpectedly, I was still affected. Even if I avoided the seafood soup, the shrimp paste in the other dishes still secretly got into my stomach. My whole body started to break out in rashes, and I couldn't stop itching. My breathing gradually became rapid. When I walked out of the restaurant, I thought I could hold on until I got to the hospital. But then my abdomen started to hurt. At that time, I had so many people I could call, and I could even ask strangers for help. But I subconsciously took out my phone and called Willow Green. After calling her a dozen times with no response, I finally gave up. The excruciating pain in my abdomen came in waves like a raging tide, making it almost impossible for me to think. I thought originally planned to ask strangers or other friends for help, which I had originally planned to do. Became out of reach in the face of this overwhelming pain. I leaned against a lamppost on the side of the street, hunching over. My phone was trembling in my hand. The next second, everything went black, and I fainted. When I woke up, a kind-hearted person had already taken me to the hospital. The nurse shook her head and told me, "You were unconscious when you were brought in, covered in rashes, with a severe food allergy. Exposing yourself to so many allergens at once is like playing with your life. Fortunately, you were brought to the hospital in time. Any later, and the consequences would have been unimaginable. You need to be careful about what you eat in the future, and don't be so reckless again. Where are your family members? Why is no one here with you?" I lay in the hospital bed, listening drowsily. My thoughts drifted back to the past with Willow Green, a mix of sweetness and coldness. I was disappointed by her absence during my time of crisis, but then I saw River Wyndham's social media post about their lovey-dovey moment. I made her dinner for the first time, but I got hurt. I'm so useless, but luckily I took care of it in time. In the photo he posted of his finger with a cartoon bandage, the woman's hand that was showing was hers. My heart was dead. My family is busy and can't come. No matter how busy you are with work, you can't ignore your family. Are your parents and wife with you? I twitched my lips and didn't say anything. My parents had passed away a long time ago, and my wife had become someone else's. Willow Green only came to the hospital on the second day of observation. Why were you suddenly hospitalized? I thought of the dozens of calls I had made to her in my last moments of consciousness. She didn't even return one call afterward. She just texted, "What's wrong?" I lowered my eyes. I had an allergic reaction. The doctor said I can be discharged today if there are no problems. After a moment, I asked, "Have you resolved your urgent matter?" Willow Green paused slightly. "Resolved." Then she looked at the time. "Since you're okay, I'm going back to the company first. Tell me when you're discharged, and I'll pick you up. Don't forget that we're seeing Mr. Sterling from Grand Era Group tonight." I wanted to say I wasn't going, but Willow Green had already turned and walked out. How convenient. The nurse told me that I could be discharged. I picked up my phone and called Willow Green. "Kent Edwards, I'm still busy here, I can't get away. You don't need to go to meet Mr. Sterling." Before I could even open my mouth, I heard a voice from the other end of the phone. "Willow, is the muffin good? If I eat the muffin, you'll have to take me out to see the world." I felt a wave of nausea. So the so-called being busy was just cuddling with River Wyndham. Well, it didn't matter anyway, because I wasn't in any shape to meet Mr. Sterling right now. If River Wyndham liked it, then let him go. I didn't expose her. Then I'll take a taxi home. I got my visa on Monday, and I booked my flight for Tuesday. It was a coincidence that Willow Green would also be flying to Sunnyport City for a conference on the same day. Since I had the idea of leaving, I gradually handed over my work to my assistant. When she was confused, I told her that I was going on a business trip for a while. The assistant took over everything diligently. The handover went smoothly. The night before I left the country, Willow Green happened to open the closet to pack her luggage. She saw that the corner where I put my clothes was empty. She was a little strange. "Where are your clothes?" I hadn't thought of a reason yet. She had already seen the suitcase standing next to it. Thinking of something, she asked, "Are you going out?" Since it was too much trouble to argue, I followed her lead. There was a problem with the Northwood project last time, and I need to go on a business trip for a week. Willow Green was puzzled. "Do you need to take all your clothes?" I nodded. "If I can't handle it, I might be staying for a while." Willow Green didn't ask any further questions after hearing this. She never really cared about the projects I was in charge of, as long as they made money for the company. "You're going on a business trip. What about things here at the company?" "Everything's been taken care of," I said, dismissing her worries. She nodded. A subtle silence filled the air. The distance between us seemed to stretch even further at that moment. "My flight to Sunnyport City isn't until tomorrow night. I can drive you to the airport." To avoid suspicion and to make things easier, I didn't refuse. The next morning, Willow Green drove me to the airport. We made small talk along the way. It used to be me who couldn't wait to be all over her, chatting about anything and everything. Now, she was doing all the asking, and I was just answering. Amid the awkward atmosphere, she suddenly received a call. After hanging up, she turned to me and said, "Something urgent came up at the company. I need to go back and handle it. I'll drop you off at the next intersection. You can grab a cab." I stared out the window, bitterness welling up inside me. My tone was deliberately light. Okay. If she knew that this drive to the airport would be the last time we spent together, would she regret being called away by River Wyndham with a single word? While waiting to board, someone posted a video in the company group chat. I tapped to open it. In the video, River Wyndham was surrounded by a crowd of people. Willow Green approached with a big muffin, and colleagues cheered and applauded. Then everyone started to play around. River Wyndham smeared cream on Willow Green's face. Far from being annoyed, she laughed happily. Woo-hoo! Our young master's 22nd birthday celebration is quite the spectacle. River Wyndham is one lucky guy. Ms. Green is so attentive. So, the urgent matter that mad. Her ditch me halfway was this? I couldn't help but smile bitterly. She didn't have to lie to me. As soon as it was time, I turned off my phone and boarded the plane. From now on, I will write a new chapter of my life alone. Willow Green returned from sunny Port City 2 days later. Seeing the empty marital home, she was struck by an eerie silence. Images of me constantly chattering away at home involuntarily flashed through her mind. An indescribable sense of emptiness washed over her. She suddenly realized that she hadn't contacted me in the past 2 days. She picked up her phone and dialed my number, only to hear a recording saying, "The number you have dialed is switched off. Please try again later." She frowned. She immediately sent me a text. "Kent Edwards, what are you doing?" Seeing that I didn't reply, she started to get annoyed. Looking around, she realized that things related to me seemed to be gone. It was strange. It was just a suitcase that I took. How did it seem like I had completely moved out? Willow Green felt a vague sense of unease. The next day at the company, the receptionist handed her a package. She hadn't opened it yet when the head of HR walked in. "Ms. Green, you're back. I need to report to you on the recent personnel changes in the company for your decision and instructions." Willow Green nodded. "Go ahead." River Wyndham was officially appointed as the company's vice president last week, but he's somewhat lacking in management experience and business acumen. In the days you were away, many departments were critical of his instructions, and work hasn't been progressing smoothly. "All right," Willow Green interrupted him, "I'll mentor him personally. With his potential, he's more than qualified to be vice president." What else? Also, Stacy Turner has been transferred to River Wyndham's team, but River Wyndham. Isn't Stacy Turner Kent Edwards' secretary? Who told you to make such arbitrary arrangements? Ms. Green, are you kidding me? Kent Edwards has already resigned. You signed his resignation letter, and Stacy Turner has already completed the handover with him. Willow Green's hand froze. She heard the words resignation letter, but her eyes were fixed on the divorce papers she had just taken out of the package. My work abroad was going smoothly. For the first 3 months, I deliberately ignored matters back home due to limited energy. I focused on adapting to my new lifestyle. I barely even contacted my friends. It wasn't until I had some free time one day that I video chatted with one of the guys and heard some news. Willow Green was so upset after seeing the divorce papers you sent her that she couldn't eat for days. She said she doesn't even remember signing the agreement. No one believes her. Isn't that what she wanted all along? She also said that HR let you go without her permission and wants to hold them accountable. But HR showed her the resignation letter with her signature, clearly stating the departure date and specific procedures, and that all formalities were complete and compliant. There's nothing she can do. I just smiled and dismissed it. To expedite things, I did use some tricks to get away. But I didn't harm her interests. As for the marital home, the only thing with significant value, I insisted on splitting it 50-50ths after the divorce. I didn't mention anything else. As for the resignation, she had already promoted River Wyndham to vice president, so she didn't need me anymore. Maybe she just couldn't believe that I would file for divorce. The woman searched high and low for me, saying she would turn the world upside down to find me. I used to love her so much, taking care of her in every way, giving her everything without reservation. It was precisely because she had gotten used to it that she belatedly noticed something was off. For the past 6 months, she always thought I was jealous of River Wyndham and was deliberately making things difficult for him. How many cold shoulders did she give me? Little did she know how much trouble that troublemaker River Wyndham had caused her. I quietly cleaned up the messes for the company, and she was completely unaware. It was said that after I resigned, Stacy Turner was deliberately harassed by River Wyndham and quit in a fit of anger. Before leaving, she revealed that River Wyndham had mistakenly sent the cost price of the company's main product to a malicious inquiring party. The shareholder group was in an uproar, forcing Willow Green to foot the bill. However, because I had used my years of accumulated contacts and excellent negotiation skills to reverse the decline of the product being defeated by a price war launched by competitors, and even created a detailed and forward-looking market promotion and development plan before leaving, they couldn't find any fault with it. I didn't mention this to Willow Green before because I didn't want to put pressure on her. After all, she brought him in, and such a low-level mistake would inevitably make the company's veterans dissatisfied with her. Later, I wanted to mention it, but I didn't think it was necessary anymore. Since she valued this pretty boy so much, she let him take root in the company. Why should I make things difficult for myself? After hanging up the video call, I had a brief online report with Mr. Thompson. I also learned that Willow Green had asked around and even found Mr. Thompson to inquire about me. She kept harassing him, asking when I would be back. Mr. Thompson conveyed the message to her, which I had told him before: if things went well at the branch in Northwood, I wouldn't be coming back before retirement. She was stunned after hearing that. Kent Edwards. What's going on with you two? She also asked me to tell you that she refuses to divorce. I breathed a sigh of relief when I learned that Mr. Thompson hadn't told Willow Green my exact address. Although I knew that with Willow Green's personality, it'd be as impossible for her to just live apart from me for a year or two, and would eventually agree to get a divorce, we still needed a final decision. But not now. The company in Northwood had just gotten on track, and I couldn't leave. I opened the text, looking for Willow Green's icon. After setting her to Do Not Disturb, I didn't look at her messages again. I didn't expect that when I opened the chat box, it was filled with her messages bombarding me. She wasn't usually this long-winded. Kent Edwards, why did you trick me into getting a divorce? You coward, say whatever you have to say to my face. If you keep being so willful, I'm going to get angry. Again and again, she wanted me to go back and explain things clearly. But hadn't I explained it? Besides the divorce papers, I also sent her a voice recorder. She had been drunk a few times, and I had only recorded 2 instances of her deeply affectionate confession to River Wyndham after drinking. My selfish intention was to make her feel guilty. Now, I sent it to her just to make her see her own heart, so she wouldn't bother agonizing over our disposable marriage. Now, I didn't need to pay attention to her emotions anymore. I didn't need to weigh what words I should say in front of her and what words I shouldn't say. I also didn't need to worry about the crazy things she did every day to look young and what impact they would have on her body. During the company's growth phase, she wasn't as idle as River Wyndham, but she always accompanied him to do extreme activities like bungee jumping, rock climbing, and surfing. Her heart wasn't in good condition. I advised her to rest properly, but she always scolded me, saying that I didn't understand her pursuit of excitement. Now, I was no longer anxious about gains and losses. I felt good. After this episode, life went on as usual. But Willow Green, back home, started to frantically harass my friends. My friends couldn't tell her where I was. So she used her identity as a victimized woman to pressure them through public opinion, claiming that they were deliberately hiding the whereabouts of me, and pushing them into the limelight. The internet was immediately filled with condemnations of me and my friends. I was amused. Before, she insisted on a secret marriage. Now, to avoid divorce, she publicly revealed our 5-year marriage online. What was she trying to achieve? Wouldn't a secret marriage and a secret divorce be better for her? To avoid implicating my friends, I booked a flight back home. Willow Green no longer dressed like a teenager. Her original professional attire looked a little too big because she had lost weight. Seeing her, I said directly, "If we can get divorced quickly, I don't need the marital home." I was alone and didn't lack that little bit of money. Willow Green, who was drinking coffee, paused. She looked up at me. "I don't want a divorce." I laughed. "Don't joke around. It's not easy for me to come back. If it were another man, he would have fought you to the death or killed that River Wyndham. I'm not resorting to violence and am willing to let you have your way. Aren't you satisfied?" Willow Green was silent. She knew that I was a top negotiator and wouldn't win if she argued with me. "River Wyndham and I don't have the kind of relationship you think. Yes, he's energetic, and I was indeed attracted to him, but I know very well that it's not love, and I've never crossed the line. The person I truly love has always been Lance Sterling." I answered for her. "So, the few posts you have on your social media are all about him, your diary only has him as the protagonist, and you even deliberately chose his death anniversary as the day we got married. Were you planning to use our marriage to commemorate your love?" "No, it's not like that. That year, my parents saw me thinking about him again, so they forced me. I just happened to choose that day." "Believe me." "I believe you," I said calmly. "Miley, then what?" "Then you were still attracted to River Wyndham. I just saw Lance Sterling's shadow in him. I wanted to make up for the regrets in my heart and neglected you. Now I've realized it. Can you forgive me this once?" I expected that one meeting wouldn't solve anything. I looked at her. "Let's talk when you're thinking clearly." After saying that, I left without looking back. The next afternoon, I went to the company. Willow Green was overjoyed. "Kent Edwards, you've come to see me?" I looked at her calmly. "You keep avoiding the divorce, so I have to come to you." The woman immediately showed a helpless expression. "Can we only get divorced?" I didn't answer, but my cold attitude had already said everything. Willow Green was heartbroken. She had seen me this decisive and rational before, but that was on the negotiating table, not with her. "Mr. Edwards, you're back." The old employees who recognized me came to greet me one after another. I just laughed and said, "I've already resigned. Just call me Kent Edwards." "No," Willow Green interrupted, "the company's doors are always open for you. No need. I like my current job." "Kent Edwards, stop being so stubborn. I've already fired River Wyndham. Isn't that enough? Do you want to sit in my position?" After entering Willow Green's office, she said to herself, "I later learned from Stacy Turner that you were the one who took on so much. Before, I was stubborn, and you secretly found ways to get projects that I couldn't win, and even paid a lot of fees out of your pocket. Otherwise, the company wouldn't have grown so quickly. River Wyndham caused trouble everywhere, but I wore rose-colored glasses and indulged him again and again, hurting you." After a moment, her eyes were red, and she choked up and said, "I've missed you so much during this time, please don't leave." I was amused by her words. I raised my eyebrows and looked at her. "Why do you think I'll always be waiting or you in the same place? What if another young man who looks like Lance Sterling appears in the future? Are you going to put on another show of making up for your regrets?" Hearing this, she lowered her head. After a long time, she asked again, "So, you don't love me anymore?" I was stunned, turned my head, and looked out the window. Love or hate is never decided in an instant. When disappointment accumulates, there is no more love left. "I don't love you." As soon as these words came out, she finally deflated. "Okay, then tomorrow, let's go through the divorce procedures." I was a little surprised that it went so smoothly. But as far as I was concerned, as long as I could get the certificate, that was all that mattered. The next day, I took my documents to the registry office. I suddenly remembered the scene when she dragged me to get our marriage certificate. Apart from haste and confusion, there was more excitement. Now, I was showing a relieved smile because I was about to be freed. After getting the divorce certificate, I simply said goodbye to Willow Green and left, completely ignoring her tear-streaked face behind me. The day before leaving the country, I met River Wyndham at the hotel where I was staying. The man's eyes were like those of a hungry wolf eager to pounce on me and tear me apart. "Kent Edwards, you've already left. What are you doing back here?" I laughed in exasperation. I kindly gave him my spot, but he started to act unreasonably. "You're back to get a divorce, isn't that what you wanted? Are you back to get a divorce? Or are you back to interfere? Are you upset that I'm doing well and want to ruin everything?" I looked at him. "I don't understand what you mean. You're shameless. How can you leave and then come back to steal what's mine? What kind of love potion did you give Ms. Green? After you left, she told me not to work at the company anymore. No matter how much I tried to please her, she was just absent-minded." I slit my WR. But she just glanced at me lightly and told me not to cause trouble. "Now that you're back, she says she won't take care of me anymore. You old man, what are you? How dare you try to steal my woman?" My gaze fell on his wrist. There was a thick bandage wrapped around it. It seemed that this man had just started to live off a woman and immediately lost his meal ticket. "Willow Green, even now, you're still telling me that you haven't crossed the line? River Wyndham, spend some time honing your skills. With your abilities, average looks, it's not easy to live off a woman. You're lucky you look like her unattainable love." Hearing me say this, River Wyndham became angry. The look in his eyes became fierce again. "What did you say? What unattainable love? You're such a simp. She doesn't even want you anymore, but you're still here being sentimental and pestering her. I look like her unattainable love? You wouldn't happen to say that you're her unattainable love, would you? TCH. Who wants to be like you, you old man?" Being a substitute without knowing it, I felt sorry for him. Not wanting to waste any more time, I turned to leave. River Wyndham suddenly rushed over like a madman and grabbed my neck hard when I wasn't prepared. "Go to hell. If you die, Ms. Green won't think about you. She'll be mine alone. She'll take care of me. I don't have a good education, and my family's poor. Ms. Green is all I have. She dotes on me so much, and it's all because you've been causing trouble that she's been distracted. As long as you die, she'll come back to me." His voice grew louder and louder, with a strong sense of obsession. Maybe because he was crazy, his strength was terrifying. No matter how much I hit him, I couldn't make him let go. "I want you to die." With his last roar, my body was pushed down the stairs by him. Under the force of gravity, I kept rolling and colliding. The last thing I heard before passing out was River Wyndham laughing. "Ha ha ha ha. Now Miss Green is mine." When I woke up, my friend was guarding me. "Old Edwards, don't move around. Your leg is broken and in a cast. You also have a big bump on your head. The doctor just finished treating you. You have to take good care of yourself and avoid getting any illnesses. Don't worry, that brat has been taken away by the police. Attempted murder. He'll be in jail for a few years." I shook my head helplessly. I underestimated River Wyndham's madness. "Mr. Thompson has already come to see you. He left not long ago. He told you to take good care of yourself and not rush to go abroad." After saying that, he glanced at the door. "She's been waiting outside the room. If you don't want to see her, I'll chase her away." I knew who my friend was talking about and said directly, "I don't want to see her." Maybe because River Wyndham tried to kill me this time, Willow Green felt guilty. Hearing that I didn't want to see her after waking up, she obediently stayed outside the ward and waited. During my hospital stay, she, a female president, not only cooked for me and made chicken soup, but also secretly sneaked into my room in the middle of the night to put a blanket on me. Sometimes, she would take my hand and press it against her face while I was asleep, saying strange things. I'm sorry, Kent Edwards. Her tears were very hot and always woke me up. But I didn't expose her. Kent Edwards, can you forgive me? No. Lance Sterling was my obsession, but after I realized that the person I loved was you, I let go. Is it too late to confess to you now? Too late. I'll change in the future. No need. She said one sentence, and I answered one sentence in my heart, until her voice started to choke. Kent Edwards, don't leave me. I didn't open my eyes, but I still opened my mouth and answered her, Willow Green, let me go. The woman finally burst into tears. She rushed into my arms excitedly. You're too much. You walked into my heart, but you said such cruel words to me. I love you, but I just realized it too late. Is that so unforgivable? I gave up arguing with her. She didn't seem to understand. When she was doing everything for River Wyndham, crazy and obsessed, the love between us was worthless. The truth wasn't what she said, that she loved me. It was just that River Wyndham didn't fulfill her fantasy of Lance Sterling, so she wanted to continue living in our marriage. I was just her safest option. No right or wrong, just stability. It was impossible for me to stay in the country for 3 months to recover from my fracture. Fortunately, my former assistant, Stacy Turner, planned to continue following me. So I got a wheelchair and prepared to leave the country another day. Willow Green didn't know this yet. On the day I was about to be discharged from the hospital, she made me a pot of fragrant chicken soup. Originally, I didn't plan to say goodbye to her, but I finally softened my attitude. I said to Stacy Turner, have Willow Green come over. I have something to tell her. Willow Green pushed me around the hospital. Thinking that I was starting to try to accept her, she talked a lot. But I was a little dazed. I once fantasized about a marriage where two people supported each other and shared their daily lives. Maybe it was like this. But at this moment, what I wanted to do was to say goodbye to her. I said, relievedly, Willow Green, actually, on the day you said you wanted to marry me, I saw you visiting his grave. The woman's body stiffened suddenly. I smiled and continued, seeing your red eyes and hearing you say you wanted me to marry you, I agreed without thinking. But it's a pity that I didn't warm your heart. Willow Green choked a little, I'm sorry. Willow Green slowly squatted down in front of me, but Kent Edwards, you cannot accept me, but don't doubt my love for you, okay? I love you very much. Maybe, but that's not important anymore. She seemed to realize that this would be the last time we met. She just smiled bitterly. What else? Also, Willow Green, goodbye forever.